Hi, seventh graders. This is Mrs. Sedlacek, and today I'm here to help guide you through the characterization lesson. You will be using this information for an assignment later on today, and then throughout the rest of the school year as well. So, characterization, internal and external, meaning inside and outside. So we have here two images that are giving you a little more information about what internal and external means. You should remember this from Unit 1 because we did go through what these words mean. But just to give you a little review, here on the left we have internal character traits. These are adjectives that describe what a person or character is like on the inside. So on the left we have those adjectives: smart, friendly, brave, hardworking, humble, determined, passionate. Then it says readers can infer these traits through the character's actions, their thoughts, feelings, and dialogue. Dialogue meaning words that they might be speaking or lines that they might be saying to other characters. So that is very important. And you've also already kind of learned a little bit about characterization. So you should know a little bit about that already. Now on the right, external character traits, what are they? They are adjectives that describe what a person or character looks like on the outside. So these are things that you would be able to see. They're visible to you. So on the left or on the bottom, they have SpongeBob is square, soft, short, and yellow. Those are all things that we can visually see on that graphic of him right there. So how are characters revealed? So first of all, we have character traits, which you should have learned a little bit about in our last chunk of chapters that we did. Character traits are revealed through events, actions, thoughts, attitudes, and feelings. So then we have our internal aspects. These would be things like the background of the character, which might include their family, their education, their childhood, their overall emotional attitude, their basic motivating desire. So this would be the same thing as motive that you've learned about before, which is the reason behind their actions or the reason that they're doing something. Then we have our external aspects, so meaning outside. We've got the movement that they make, their gestures, so like hand signals, their dress, their posture. Do they sit up straight? Are they slouchy? Do they kind of walk slowly? Are they somebody that moves quickly? And then their mannerisms. So these are like daily things or like repeated things that you would see from that person. All right, moving on to direct and indirect characterization. It is very important that you know the difference between these two things because you will be seeing them several times and you will be needing to identify it and then eventually be able to kind of work this in to things yourself. Direct characterization. It sounds exactly like what it's called. It's the writer directly is stating or describing the character traits. They're going to come right out and tell you about the character through their words. So John's icy blue eyes showed the evil in his heart. If you look at that example there, you want to think to yourself, what is the author or the writer telling me directly about that person? What can I capture from that? Well, I know he has icy blue eyes, and I know that he's evil. And I know that the icy blue eyes kind of help to show that he has evil inside of his heart, right? Now, if we look at the next part, indirect characterization, again, exactly as it sounds, the writer is revealing a character's personality through his or her words and actions, thoughts, words and actions of other characters. Okay, so this one's a little more complex, a little more difficult to find. But again, you're going to be looking at how they are talking, how they're acting, how they're thinking, like if they're describing some internal conflict that they might be having. And then you might be looking at other characters and how they are speaking or acting towards them, because that can reveal something about that character. So if we look at the example, John laughed as Sue's books tumbled to the floor. Smooth move, reject, he bellowed with a twinkle in his eye. Right, now when we look at that example, we want to ask ourselves, what is it in those lines that tell me something about John? Or what is it that is describing something about him that I can make an inference about? So we know that he laughed as Sue's books were falling to the floor. So first of all, we know that, he maybe isn't very nice if he's laughing at somebody who might be getting hurt. And then we know that through his words, what he's saying smooth move, reject. Again, not a very nice thing to say to somebody. Then he bellowed with a twinkle in his eye. So kind of like laughed in a way. Okay, as he had a twinkle, might seem like a little bit sarcastic. So again, that's showing that maybe he's not very nice, or maybe he is a little bit evil. But this example is different than the direct characterization one, because the writer is not telling you that he's evil or saying that he has icy blue eyes. He is making you find or look for clues or make inferences based off of his actions, his words, and how he's acting towards others. All right, a little bit more about indirect characterization. So we use the acronym STEAL, meaning speech, thoughts, effects on others, actions, and looks. Okay, so again, this is only with indirect characterization, but this is an acronym that is going to help you to characterize the character completely and figure out about the character, like what are the character traits that you can use to describe him, and to look at that character completely all the way around. So like speech, you would look at, what does a character say? How do they speak? Their thoughts, what is revealed through their private thoughts and feelings? Their effect on others, what's revealed through their effect on other people? How do other characters feel or behave in reaction to the character? Actions, what does the character do? How does the character behave? And then their looks, what does the character look like? How do they dress? Because that can tell you a lot also. Now, when you are using characterization, you want to be really specific with the character traits that you choose. So we don't, you can think of words off the top of your head. And again, you're wanting to use adjectives. You can think of them, but most of the time, especially as 7th graders, you'd probably think of commonly used words that might be too repetitive and not very descriptive. You want to be really specific. So it is a good idea for you to use a word bank. So we have one provided here on the slide for you. So you can see words that might not be as commonly heard, like gloomy, lucky, loyal, selfish, thoughtful, wicked. You want to be kind of creative with the words that you choose. So another good resource for you, since you have a laptop, we want you to use that as a resource. So you can always go to Google, type in character traits, and then click on images, and that will give you several choices to choose from of word banks and graphics that have character traits on them. And they might even have some that aren't on here as well. So make sure you use that as a resource as you are completing characterization practices. So now we're going to watch a video of Mr. Fredrickson. And as you're watching it, we want you to think about, how would you describe him? Okay. And not just like what he looks like, right? We want you to think of what about his speech, his thoughts, his effect on others, his actions, his looks, using that STEAL acronym. And then we want you to be able to tell us how you came up with that conclusion. So we will watch the video first.
Please be my prisoner.
Doug, stop bothering Kevin.
That man there says I can take you, Bert, and I love that man there like he is my master.
I am not your master.
I am warning you once again, Bert.
Hey, quit
I
it.
am jumping on you now,
Russell,
Bert.
at this rate, we'll never get to the fall.
Here, Bert.
nobody's master, got it? I don't want you here, and I don't want you here. I'm stuck with you. And if you two don't clear out of here by the time I count to
A
three...
ball! Oh boy, a ball!
Oh. You want a ball?
Oh. Yes, I do. I do ever so want the ball.
Go get it!
Oh boy, I will get it and then bring it back.
Quick, Russell, give me some chocolate.
Why?
Just give it to me. Bird. Come on, Russell.
Wait, Mr. Fredrickson. What are we doing? Hey, we're pretty far now. Kevin's gonna miss me.
I think that did the trick.
Hi, Master.
Afternoon.
Okay, so from the video, we want you to be able to describe him completely. So when we think about his speech, you might have said to yourself, he's not very nice when he speaks to the other characters, right? He's kind of grouchy. His thoughts, again, he has a negative aspect on things when he's describing his thoughts, saying, well, we're never going to get there. Okay, effect on others. He has a negative effect on the others in a way, but they still kind of stay positive as well. His actions are a little abrupt because that goes with his negative aspect. And then his looks, he's kind of slow. Obviously he's older, right? But slow, and he just, throws things and throws the ball for the dog to kind of get him to go away. So overall, you would be able to characterize him all the way around if you use the STEAL acronym. All right, now we have a practice question. So it says, I left home at the correct time, but when I was riding along near the hatchery, the crew was separating some salmon. I guess I just got distraught watching them. I apologize to my classmates, Asher concluded. So this detail shows me Asher is blank by blank. All right, so we want you to think of a character trait that would describe Asher. So if we go back to the character traits word bank, we want you to think about, not only from that example, but from other things that you know about Asher, what would be some words from this word bank that you might use to describe him based off of direct and indirect characterization? All right, so if you think about it, you might have said he's, obviously he said distraught. You could say that he is sorry. He's sensitive at this point. Through that, you could say that it is shown through his words, obviously, because there's dialogue in the example, his thoughts, his actions, he's apologizing. Okay, there's not really other words or actions of other characters, so it'd be mainly A and B. All right, 7th graders, so from this lesson, you should have learned the difference between internal and external, and then you should have had a review of character traits, and then also direct and indirect characterization. So you will be using these skills on your assignment that you're going to be receiving over the giver as well. So make sure you come back to this lesson if needed.